Can you get down now? Are you still drinking? Hey, girl.
Hey.
Of course, decided it was drinking time. Are we done? Can I turn it off? Yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
All right. Bye, babies. It's their bedtime, but Freya sending the invite. Maybe. Guest. What is going on here?
I don't know. It's been acting weird.
All right, I sent it to Jen. Oh, weird. It like pops up. There's Steven. Cool. It pops up and then like I can't click on their name to do it. It's like if I miss the initial thing, they're like, nah.
Got everybody and their page went.
Yeah. What?
Paige, you're
Where
frozen.
did I disappear?
Here.
No, it's just okay, you're back. It was just your eyes there for a
Oh,
second. It was like,
can you hear me?
I can
yeah,
hear you, but you're like frozen. There you go.
you're not frozen for me.
Yeah, you're working now for me. Sort of.
Oh, oh, keep those, but you Bear just went.
Our Wi-Fi's acting up too, I think.
Oh, great. Yes, baby.
Mm-mm.
8 times.
George Washington.
Hi, Kanu. Hi, Tanya.
Yeah, we know Tanya. She's kind of glitchy. It's okay. We'll get it.
All right, is it back?
There we. Well, sort of. Yeah.
All right, trying this
Yeah,
again.
you're working now.
I disconnect. Okay, I disconnected from the Wi-Fi and I'm trying to reconnect to the closer Wi-Fi and see if that works. So, hi, Callista.
Hi, Calista.
Why do I yell at people? Hi, Callista. Like you just came in here. I don't know why I do that.
I don't know.
It's the Sagittarius part of you.
You can hear me regardless. And I'm just like, hi. How are you doing, Steven?
My,
Is it working?
my face is super. Turn that down. I have a shiny face.
I'm not sure if you all can hear me, but
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear you.
Can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you all.
Okay, we're good then.
My Wi-Fi, I
Fabulous.
think, is acting up. Well, we've got a windstorm going through here really bad at the moment.
Oh yeah, us too.
Oh, yeah. I saw
We got
that.
that
What is that?
yesterday.
Is that the
Yeah.
Doppler radar? Is that what that thing is on the?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that called the Doppler?
I introduced my daughter to that last night. We had storms, like 80-mile-an-hour wind storms through Texas yesterday. So,
Jesus.
yeah. We're trying to go to the grocery store and we're like, we got to go back in the house because there's like tornado sirens going off everywhere.
We don't need groceries that badly.
No, we waited till it had passed and then we went. The store was empty though, so that was nice.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice. All right, so Ruthie, she had family stuff come up, so she's not joining us, and Allie's on a deadline for recording, so she's not joining us. So it's the 5 of us, but that's fine because we'll have a great time. And now we don't have any adult supervision. Woo!
Let's see how long we can go before I banana us.
We didn't get bananaed last time, so
Challenge accepted.
things got weird. We'll try not to freak out.
Weird.
I think if you're not the host, I think only you get bananaed.
I'm hoping to get bananaed. I want to get bananaed.
I get bananaed all the time, you know.
I am on the bingo card.
Nice.
I need to.
I
It is
am wearing
versatile.
pants. I am wearing pants. It's not a Pooh Bear night. We'll leave that for next Friday.
It's all right. I'm Pooh Bearing for us all.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, friends, welcome to Books and Audio. Tonight's guests are Stephen Paul Watson, who wrote Howling Moon and Full Wolf Moon. And you've got a new one out, Stephen, right, called Fairywood Falls. Is it out or is it just the cover release?
It's not out yet. It comes out April the 28th. It goes
Nice.
off to the editor next week. So
Woo! That's
Ooh,
awesome. The
exciting.
cover is beautiful. I love the cover so much. It appeals to the fairy lover in me. My
Yeah.
license
Yes.
is very blue. My license plate is actually the Russian word for fairy, feya. So
that's awesome.
Fancy.
yeah.
Oh no!
And then oh no, we lost Steven.
It was supposed to be me, Steven.
Oh no, here he is. He's here. Come on, bring him back.
He's coming back.
Yeah, I think he said his Wi-Fi was having problems.
Yeah, because he's in the windstorm. So
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll just keep bringing you back.
I know. You're back.
The webcam ain't working, but at least it let me reconnect. So
We can hear you.
that's good.
And we can do like camera reversals. I can always pull your cover up and set on the internets. So, and then our other guest is Freya Victoria, who is an audiobook narrator. And when did you start your narration journey, Freya?
September of 2021.
Nice. I feel like you were one of the first people I met on the app.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I've known you so long. And yes,
Yeah,
she is awesome. Yeah. She is awesome. So and you primarily narrate what?
Whatever will hire me.
No, I'm here for that.
I primarily get hired in fiction realm with snarky, bitchy characters.
I love
that seems to be it fits my personality, so I guess I just acted very well because it's not acting for me. So
I would argue sometimes it's harder to not act like to not act like yourself. Hi, Steven.
Not for me.
Yay!
Not for you.
There's a face.
That's awesome. All right, so we'll move back to Steven then. Steven, tell us about your journey. When did you start writing?
Oh, I've been writing since I was a kid. I guess it was one of those things that I just had to get out. Don't want that stuck in your mind.
No.
As like a grade schooler, and I used to make up stories for my friends and all that kind of stuff. So it's always been part of who I am. So
that's awesome. And is Howling Moon, was that one your first one? Or Full
That was
Moon?
my first one. Howling Moon was my first one. It came out in 2017. I was publishing a couple anthologies before that, but Howling Moon was my first, and then I took a long time to get my second one out, and now I'm actually starting to crank them a little bit faster. And my wife's sitting here making fun of me because she's been telling me to do that for a while.
Well, you just say, I'm finally listening. Yes, dear, you were right the whole time. Yes, that's correct.
She's smiling at that. She likes being right, so
We usually do, yeah. We kind of revel in that. So tell us a little bit about of Howling Moon. And is Full Wolf Moon in the same universe as Howling Moon?
Yeah, it is actually the second book.
Okay.
Howling Moon is the first one. It follows a Emily Meyer who basically she has a very tragic accident and she's attacked. And she goes through the whole process of trying to figure out what is going on with her own body, and she's being stalked at the same time.
Oh.
And the sequel picks up 3 months after the first one.
Okay.
As she has basically separated herself away from all her friends and family so they don't get hurt. And she comes head first into a pack of werewolves. So.
Oh. Is that before or after the accident, or is that part of the accident attack?
It's
or can you
after.
tell her? It's after. Okay.
It's after. The whole first book takes place, and she's dealing with trying to figure out what is physically wrong with her and what happened to her the night she was attacked, and dealing with her stalker. And the second book is just her trying to figure out more of what she is. So, and the third one should be out next spring.
Okay, and so there's a third one in this series.
Well, there's third one's written, fourth one is written, so
Oh, all
it's
right.
just
All
a
right.
matter.
How many are they all about Emily?
They all follow Emily. Though I do have a spin-off that I've written. There's a character in the second book who she's basically an alpha, and the spin-off follows her origin. So, yeah,
Ooh,
Nice.
okay. And the whole series is called Howling Moon.
Howling Moon.
Okay, that's awesome. Howling Moon. I'm looking at the cover. Let's see if I can turn this camera around and let everybody else see too. Or do you have it? You can hold it up because we can see you now.
I do not have it in here with me. I could go get it.
Yeah, go get it.
My
It'll be
wife
better.
will go get it for me. Both Howling Moon and Full Wolfman.
PJ's calling me. I don't know what he wants. I don't want to talk to him.
Tell him to get on the live. He wants to talk to you.
He's at a show in Northern Virginia. They're driving back now. So yes, thank you, wife.
Well, she went running into the house, and our Australian Shepherd went chasing after her. Penny is our Australian Shepherd, and she does not like for people to run. So
Oh,
She's like, "Where are you going? You're not supposed to be out there. You're supposed to be in here."
yeah, she's basically her shadow. So yeah,
Oh, I love it. My sister has 2 Aussie Shepherds. So
we absolutely love that breed of dog. So yeah,
Rexy has one too. They're so sweet.
they are.
They're so sweet.
they're extremely protective and family oriented too.
Mhm.
Yes. One was when my niece was a baby and my sister-in-law brought her over to my sister's house. One of them just kept getting like closer and closer, and like Patrick was like, no, and he would back off, and then suddenly he just went and like ran away, like on the baby. He was like, "This is mine," and then he ran away.
Our Aussie, she is so protective of our boy that it's not even funny that no one can mess with him. If he was to be in trouble for something, we'd have to make her go outside or into a kennel or something. That's how protective she is. So.
Oh, that's a good girl though. That's a good girl. Hey, there's PJ. PJ, don't call me. I'm busy. I love you. Don't call me. So, but you said you're in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I'm in the eastern part of Kentucky. So
Okay. So I
literally,
should have been listening to you to do one of my last books, as I should have sounded like you. PJ,
I can be
follow
in
Steven.
West Virginia in like 20 minutes, 25
Okay.
minutes. So I'm literally right here at the edge of the Kentucky. So
Okay, so like we would have passed by where you live then, like driving from Virginia up to like Lexington and Frankfurt.
probably.
Okay.
PJ, don't be.
Like, I can be in the breaks of the mountain if you know where that's at in 30 minutes.
Okay.
So,
I know.
actually, Fairywood Falls takes place on the edge of the breaks of the mountain. I included that in the novel. So
Ooh.
Nice.
And now Fairywood Falls is a separate series, yes?
yeah, it's a standalone story about a husband and wife who moved back to Eastern Kentucky, and they basically realize something else lives on our property, and there's something hunting that, and they are stuck in the middle. So
Oh. Okay.
I actually wrote it last year. Like I wrote it and then I loved it, and I started editing it, and I was like, I've got to get this out next.
Yeah, that's awesome. You said that comes out April 28th?
April 28th.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Can't find the first one.
Paige, we have a flat. Won't be home anytime soon. LOL. Yeah, that sounds like a Virginia rep van. That sounds like a tour van.
Yeah, you guys don't have a spare? You don't have a donut? What's going on?
No. The tour vans are horrendous. One day I will regale you the story of White Van in my second tour ever. But today's not that day because it will take forever. But yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, PJ.
I'm sorry, bud. I know you're having great fun with your cast. They're so positive and upbeat. It is an epic story. Did you find it? Yay! So this is the Howling Moon. This is the first one.
Pretty.
I love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then Full Wolf Moon. Yes. Yeah. Ooh, I don't think I noticed the eyes up in the corners the last time I looked at that.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
No, yeah, I noticed that. I was looking at it this morning.
No, I saw like the moon and the bottom.
Yeah.
That's an anthology I got published in. That was actually one of the first places I got published. So.
Oh.
Awesome. So is that's a short story then? What's that one about?
Well, it's 14 different authors, all follow that lead character, all interact with her in some fashion.
Oh,
And
interesting.
every story is about people interacting with her as she's on a journey to find her sister. So it's very dystopian future type setting. So
That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
Interesting
Yeah,
one.
I love the cover on that too. That's
So I read in
fun.
your bio you're also into art. What kind of art do you do?
painting and sketching, and I'm big into photography and pretty much anything creative. So I do a lot of woodwork
Oh, woodwork?
and
Cool.
yeah, scroll work, scroll saws.
Yep.
And routers and pretty much anything with wood and art and anything like that creative. I just always want to be creative.
Cool.
Have you shown any of that on your TikTok account, or are you just keeping it kind of author oriented?
I have not showed anything like that on my TikTok account.
Why
I will
not?
in the future when I haven't made anything new since the start of 2020. So, because we traveled to the West Coast, and my wife is a nurse and she's amazing, and yeah, we was on the road for like 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, and
wow.
since we got back, I just haven't had a chance to do it. So
That's fair. That's fair, but you'll have to share it because that's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
Okay. All
My
right, Freya,
son keeps trying to slip into the picture.
come
What?
say hi.
Come here. Now he doesn't want to.
Now he's not photo bombing, video bombing.
That's what he was trying. That's what he was trying to do. He just wasn't getting close enough.
We'll keep an eye out. So, Freya, what do you do outside of narrating? Narrating. What did I say? Narrating?
Words.
Words are hard.
I am still I am actually part owner of my day job that I basically manage a team of salespeople. So I do that for part of my day. And then read. I read. I'm either reading like a book for fun, or I'm prepping a book to narrate, or which prior to narrating, I just would sit on my couch reading. So at least now I get paid for it. But yeah, so that's pretty much my life revolves around reading. We play video games sometimes, a bunch of stuff. I don't know. We randomly travel to, my in-laws are in Missouri, so we go there a couple times a year. I'm kind of a boring person generally.
I don't think readers are boring. We're on Book Talk. We're surrounded by readers.
Yes.
I doom scroll Book Talk when I could actually be reading. I mean,
this is true. Yeah.
true.
So what do you tend to read? Like what genre?
I read a little bit of everything. Like growing up, like I'm from a conservative Christian family, so like a lot of what I read starting out was like that kind of books, a lot of like Beverly Lewis and like how many times can you rewrite the same Amish book? And then I remember like my first foray, I guess, into like romance books. We started going to like the library every so often. And I remember checking out Nicholas Sparks books, and I don't think my mom realized that there was any kind of content in those books. Now that's like super tame compared to other stuff that I read. I mean, I've narrated a couple eroticas at this point, so like
we all start somewhere.
It is what it is. So my favorite book, I probably like dystopian YA is one of my favorite like genres, and the series that I've definitely read the most is the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a scene in those books that will get stuck in my head, and I cannot get it out until I've read through the entire series again. So I've read that like 3 or 4 times in the last like 3 years. So
wow.
That is dedication to a series. I mean, I have my favorites, but I don't know that I've read them 3 or 4 times. I would say 2. Maybe 3 total, but that's been since like 2005 or 2006.
Yeah, I found them because she just wrote the last book in the series like a year ago, I think it released. So it was a lot of like at the beginning, there was only like a trilogy, and then she did a second trilogy, and then there's like novellas that go between the trilogy books. And like I own all of them except the last one, which I own digital. The rest I own hard copies. So
I think you need to rectify that. That sounds like a terrible
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
You can't
Well,
do
it was
that.
one of those like I don't remember. I think she may have like released the digital first, and so I bought that or some. I don't remember. I don't know why I don't own that one, but I own all the rest of them. So I need to just buy it.
Right. PJ says I'm wrong. I have read The Night Circus like 3 times since I discovered it. And also given it to everyone in my family as Christmas gifts, and I think only my mom read it. So, it's fine.
My
It's
family not readers, so I'm like I always get books for Christmas. I can't give because no one else reads.
Well, we tried to do that, the Icelandic, what is it, Shola, they give books and chocolate on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
Shola Coco, hold on. Like I'm going to say it in actually Icelandic. Icelandic.
It's Icelandish. That was a good one.
I don't know what I just said. Don't suspend me. I didn't mean it like that. Christmas Eve. It's like books. Oh, why is Bing? I don't know why Bing is my. Okay, Yola Bokoflot.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
But you're supposed to exchange books and chocolate on Book Flood. You're supposed to exchange books and chocolate on Christmas Eve, and then you spend the evening eating your chocolate and reading your book.
Sounds
So
like the best night ever.
It's like every day.
Right. I'm like Christmas Eve every day. But the rest of my family didn't get the memo. So
Rude.
but speaking of reading, do we want to, while we have probably the most amount of viewers we will have, do we want to go ahead and do the narration?
We can.
Yeah, do it.
All right.
Do it.
Let me close my door back. I was trying to let some air conditioning in. All right, this is from the first book, right?
Yes, it's from Howling Moon.
Okay. It's been a while since I've had to dry read in front of people.
You didn't prep? Shame on. No, I'm just kidding.
I did read through it, yes. That doesn't mean I memorized it.
We're not here to judge you. We're here to listen and enjoy.
Okay. Emily lifted the glass to her lips, not even bothering to inquire what the questionable drink was. The bitter-tasting liquid burned all the way down, but she didn't cough. An experienced drinker. He smiled, taking the glass and returning it to the small kitchen area. A stove, a fridge, and a couple of big fridge-sized cabinets took up most of the room. The kitchen was separated from the other room only by a bar-styled counter very similar to the one in her own home. I've had my share. Emily turned to look at the living area. A couch pulled out as a bed. Covers and pillows were scattered about, and several duffel bags of clothing and other accessories were strewn around the room. I bet, young lady. She smiled at the irony of the conversation being about her experience in consumption of alcohol. Yet he still called her lady. Emily saw yet another handgun as it peeked out from under the pillow on the makeshift bed. She turned to look behind her. It was hidden by the door, but there sat a shotgun and a large machete. Another? Bradley asked. She turned as he stepped back into the room. She showed no hesitation as she took the glass, and in unison, they both drank down their shots. She handed back her glass and returned his smile. So you're here because you want to know what an old man saw. You did see it, didn't you? Emily watched him return to the counter and begin to pour a couple more shots. To be honest, sweetheart, I don't know what I saw that night. He replied with a glance back over his shoulder. I almost didn't see you there in the road. He took another drink of his own before he refilled both their glasses and approached her. I wasn't driving fast or anything of the sort when I came into those curves. But see, my judgment may have been slightly obscured. Bradley lifted his glass into the air with a smile. What happened in that last curve was enough to sober up the drunkest sailor on leave. He finished off his drink and watched as Emily did the same. Bradley took both glasses back to the sink but did not refill them. He walked past her, taking a seat at the table. I never actually saw the animal miss. It was more of a feeling as I came out of that last curve. Something kept my attention off the road and drew it to the embankment where you wrecked. The truth is, I never even saw your car until I picked your broken body up from the pavement. I only saw shadows. I was nearly on top of you before I saw you there. Swerved to miss and was several car lengths past before I even realized you weren't some deer carcass. Emily was shocked by his account of the events. Something about that night. In that moment, I almost couldn't make myself get out of the truck. I was startled, but it was more than just about hitting you. Something inside scared me shitless. I backed my truck up and opened the door for only a moment before I closed it and locked it. I remember my daddy telling me stories of the war and fear. In those moments when you grow numb and you just don't know how to deal. I saw war myself. I saw things back in my day that would scare the hell out of most. But none of those memories give me the feeling I got that night. That moment, all I could see was darkness. But you just know something isn't right. Something is there, waiting to get you. Emily knew the feeling. Sorry, go swallow. She could remember it well from that night, knowing there was something out there she just could not see. I scooted across the seat. I wasn't out of the truck a handful of seconds. I scooped you off the ground and put you in the truck, even bumped your head on the door in the process. I never looked at your wounds. You were covered in mud, blood, and who knows what else. I just knew I had to get you out of there. Even over the roar of my engine, I heard it in the darkness. The intense hate-filled growl. It was like no dog's growl I'd ever heard. I pulled the door shut and locked it, crawled over the top of you back to my seat. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. You just kept muttering for God to help you, dear. I'm thankful you were there. Emily moved from her position just inside the door of the cabin. For the first time, she saw the papers at her feet, scattered and open. They were all about the attacks. That's not all. The old man looked ashamed to finish. Emily could see him shake, and the fear set in on his face. As I drove, I saw something in my rear view. It was mostly just a shadow, but at the very spot where you had lain. As tall as any man, it stood and stretched, and I swear I was a mile away, music on, the sound of your wounded breathing and mumbling, my own heart. I still heard it howl out in anger over a missed meal. And
Hey! I can't see Steven's reaction because he's frozen on my screen, but he's doing this on my screen.
There.
Probably a good
got
thing.
the
I'm just
model
smiling.
hand.
That was great. I loved it.
Oh, Brea, that was awesome. Well done. See, who needs to prep?
No, you read that just
What is
fine.
Yeah, it's spooky. I'm intrigued. Now, is that towards the beginning, Stephen, or?
It reflects what happens at the beginning, but that's about probably halfway through the book
Okay.
when she's still trying to figure out what happened to her, and that conversation is sort of what finishes it off to make her realize that exactly what happened. So
That's awesome. Right. It's spooky. I love
the
it.
first book definitely leads more to the horror side of the genre. It's a little bit of urban fantasy and horror, and the second book sort of leads into the soul more urban fantasy than horror. So
okay, so it's like a progression. Now
yeah.
I'm noticing here that it's number 272 in LGBTQ horror. Is Emily lesbian or?
Emily's not, but her best friend is.
Okay.
Like the character of Ashley is like her best friend, and honestly, most people who have read the book like Ashley more than Emily, which I'm okay with that. But I mean, when I actually set out writing it, I was writing it and I was like, I love this character. And it actually, because I like the character so much, it caused me to change how I ended the book a little bit.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Ashley told you that you had a different path then.
Yeah, I definitely changed the ending because it was definitely a lot different.
Oh, well, so you
So,
should do it like a deleted scene of what the original ending was, and be like, Ashley made me do it.
yeah. I have probably spoken about that a little bit on Patreon, but I haven't really
Oh, you have
put
a
it all
Patreon.
out there. Yeah.
Okay, what is it under Stephen Paul Watson
Yeah,
on
it's under
Patreon?
my name. Yeah.
Okay, that's
So,
awesome. So you all go to Patreon and support Stephen. Do it. And now, Freya, you run a podcast. You run 3 podcasts.
Yes.
Tell us more.
So I started narrating in September of 2021, and all I could get hired on was nonfiction, which was not fun. I mean, like, I like it, and like the whole reason that I started looking for something to do from home was because like we had property taxes due, and I'm like, I need money now. And happened to stumble across videos of like getting started narrating, and so then I did. Because that was cheap to start. Anyways, so I'm getting hired on all these nonfiction, and I'm like, we need a way to practice fiction, right? So I decide I'm going to start a fiction podcast. And so I did. It was like a month later. So beginning of October 2021, I started with The Secret Garden. I use classic novels because I don't like to get sued. And so
We like that. Yep.
I started with The Secret Garden. On one podcast. It started with one. And I'm psycho. So I decided we're going to do this one daily. So every single day of the last year and a half, a chapter of a classic novel has aired on my podcast. I checked my stats on that particular one. I just crossed 31,000 downloads on it.
Nice.
So that one's done. It's done okay. And then like the beginning of the next year, so 2022, I was like, hey, I kind of want to know like a little bit about these authors. Like, what were their lives like while they were writing these? So I started. So the first one is called Bite at a Time Books. The second one is Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story. So it's about like the authors, which some of those guys have some twisted lives they had going on there. But so I started that. And then at that time, around that time is when I started getting hired on fiction books, and like just talking to the authors, I got way more involved with like, why did you write the book? And just like talking to the authors. I didn't really talk to authors with the nonfiction. Like everyone that I worked for the most part, always hired me back because like I get shit done, and I get it done when I say I'm going to get it done. And so like that is apparently not a thing in the narrator world when you're dealing with, like I said, I needed to pay property taxes. So I was taking like the low hanging fruit that was willing to pay whatever. So that's apparently people that take royalty share and low paying jobs don't get their stuff done. They ghost a lot of the times, apparently. And so beginning of the year, I start landing fiction, and I actually, cared what the fiction authors, why did you write this random story about? I did a dystopian novel with a British author, and I'm like, how did you come up with this story? And so I'm like, so we're gonna start another podcast number 3. So that one is Freya's Fairy Tales. That one's been going. I started it April of last year, so we're almost a year in. And that one is weekly because I'm not psycho anymore. And I'm still doing the other daily one, but I talk to authors, some that I narrate for, some that I don't, but I talk to authors about, it's Freya's Fairy Tales. So we talk about what was your favorite fairy tale when you were a kid? Because a lot of times that will have partially influenced your writing, or like the stories you liked as a kid. When did you start writing? How long did it take you to write your first novel? what did you do once you typed the end? What did you do next? Did you go to an editor? Did you go to beta readers? And I try to keep it all very like this, very informal, not boring interview feeling. So like I talked to Golden Angel and we talked about her coloring her hair when she became a full-time author. Like it's not like we're going to answer these 5 questions and be done. Ta-da! Like that's not what I want to be at all. So that's it. That's three podcasts now. And I just got contracted on my 100th audiobook.
Nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Well done. Well done. And you said all you do in your free time was read.
Yes.
So that wasn't your free time then. We weren't including all of that in outside of narration.
Yeah, so now my free time looks a lot like none. Sometimes I have stuff, but TikTok, I'll be scrolling through TikTok too much one week and then I'll have to catch up. Like tomorrow, I have 2 days of editing to do tomorrow because I didn't get it done because I went grocery shopping yesterday and now I'm on here. So it's
well, you said today's the day you normally go grocery shopping. So
yes, today I normally go. We went yesterday so I could be on here. So just kind of, things throw my week off a little bit. It's fine.
I guess in that vein then, Stephen, what is your favorite fairy tale? And did it influence Howling Moon and Full Wolf Moon? I'm taking your podcast idea for like the next 5 minutes or so.
Well, my favorite me and my wife was actually talking about fairy tales and all that earlier today. Mine actually, no surprises, Little Red Riding Hood. So
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Nice.
A few authors with that one.
All right. I suppose that tells us what the influence, like how it influenced
Yeah.
your story. There's a little bit of an influence maybe in there.
a little bit.
That,
A little bit. So who are your inspirations, like as you're writing? Do you try and, I don't want to say emulate, but do you
Well, honestly,
aspire to be?
I'm a big fan of high fantasy. So, but as for that genre, I've actually read some Laurel K. Hamilton and Charlotte Harris, and I absolutely love the Mercedes Thompson's books. But I've read all the Mercedes Thompson books after I started writing this, so I can't. But I was always the Lord of the Rings fan and all that, so it's always more high fantasy than urban fantasy.
Nice. So are you into Sanderson and that kind of stuff?
I'm not the biggest fan of Sanderson. Maybe it's because I haven't read the right ones, because I tried Wheel of Time, which I know he comes in later. I am a fan of George R. R. Martin. I am currently devouring all of Joe Abercrombie's books, like all of them in the past year. I'm on like number 9 or 8.
What was the name?
Joe Abercrombie. The first Law trilogy series, which is like 9 books long.
Joe Abercrombie. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, those covers are fun too. I'm not familiar with them.
They're very grim dark. They're very dark. So.
I like grim dark.
But I read the first 3 books and they're great. And the second 3, like 4, 5, and 6, are actually standalone novels, and I think they're probably 3 of my favorite novels ever read. So
Really? Now I'm looking at them, so like tell me. So The Last Argument of Kings, that's the first Law trilogy.
Yeah.
And then the ones after that are
let's see.
Is that the World of the First Law or the Age of Madness?
They're all the world. There's like 9 of them that's all in that world.
Okay.
I just started what's considered the second trilogy. I just started it.
Is that like A Little Hatred?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one I
Okay.
just started.
Okay, they said that's
I'm
the Age of
bad
Madness.
with the names of the titles right now, so.
The covers
I
are
like-
great. It's like there's
like
a wolf on
the-
the cover.
There is a wolf on the cover. I actually have a tattoo of a wolf, so maybe I'm predictable.
There's nothing
So-
wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, do you come from a Norse background or
I'm just
Celtic? Or just like
a
wolves?
little bit, yeah. I'm big into wolves and crows, and maybe it's not so much that as since I was a kid, I always loved wolves. So,
Mm.
and
I'm
I'm
with you.
from Appalachia, and I have a thing for crows as well. So,
PJ took me to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and he didn't tell me there were wolves, and I heard them start howling, and I started sobbing. I was so happy. So
I went
I
to
feel
a
you.
horror convention 3 years ago that I went to it a lot and as a writer, and I wasn't going to go that year, and they actually added wolves to the list. They from the sanctuary, they brought 2 wolves to the convention, and at that point, I signed up the next day. Said, "Yeah, I'll be there this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
I will be there." So
I know there's a wolf sanctuary in Ohio because PJ and I, when we were on tour, were like, do we have time to stop off at that wolf sanctuary?
Mhm.
I watched
So, yeah.
the one on TikTok that is in Alberta, Canada, I think it is, where the cabins they have, the wolves walk right by them on the sanctuary.
Oh,
So
I
that
didn't need to know about this, but now I'm like, vacations in Alberta, Canada.
I know it's in Canada. I don't know if it's Alberta. That's where the first thing that popped in my head. But you see the videos of the people sitting at the windows, and the wolves will just walk by and sit and stay around the window.
Is it the
So
Yamnuska?
it could be. I'd have to see the videos to be sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go on a mad search. Yeah, PJ wants to go to the one in Norway because you can
I'll have
actually like
to
cuddle with the wolves.
next time I see it, I'll share it with you. Which is the funniest thing. My wife is actually terrified of wolves and werewolves and all that. So, and she married me.
I'm equally like terrified and in love with them. Like I know this creature can turn around and rip out my throat, and I respect that, but I also want to cuddle the puppy. So
We went to the theater a couple weekends ago and watched Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Well, the big bad in it is basically Lobo is Death is a big bad wolf. And my wife just looked at me and said, "Oh God." And they did so good. It was so creepy and really good. My kid loved it.
Did you know that Lobo was a big bad wolf?
We did not know anything about that character being in there. So.
You didn't read any spoilers, and you were like, "Oh, there's a wolf. We're gonna go."
Well, it wasn't me and her that wanted to see it. Our boy was dying to see it, and he doesn't
Fair
want to go
enough.
to the movie theater, and he wanted to go, so that's where we took him.
That's awesome. I haven't seen him video bomb yet again, but that's
He
also
was,
because you're
he was
frozen.
here a second ago. He had his head peeking through the claw over my shoulder. But he
Everyone else
hasn't
is
done
gonna have
it
to call
since.
it out because your screen is still frozen on mine.
Oh,
So you're doing this. That's what you're frozen as. That was very suave. All right, Jen, I know you have a list of questions.
I'm trying.
I was gonna say Jen drank too much.
We know you are. Jen. This is the
So
quietest she's ever been in her life. I swear.
If you were a
What happened?
food,
You're
if
just
you were
so
a food,
quiet.
Freya, what would you be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Food?
Yeah, if you were a food, what would you be? Because Jen was drunk and asked us earlier for everything of people as food, so I'm branching off.
Yeah.
Well, I would say like my favorite food is probably ice cream, so we're gonna go with that.
That's fair. What about
No,
you,
but
Steven?
like, have you ever like eaten something and been like, "This is Al Pacino"?
No.
Can't say I have.
Jen, I love your face. It's okay.
Well, Steven Tyler is Pringles too. I figured that one out. Okay, what was your most difficult scene to write?
the most difficult.
I'm trying.
Actually, the most difficult scene for me to write is actually one that hasn't come out yet. It's actually in book 3 of the Howling Moon series, and it was pretty difficult to write. So,
Can you tell us why it was difficult, or will that give it away?
well, it's someone dies close to Emily who I spent 3 books building up. So, or 2 books
That's
building
hard.
up for it. So,
That's very
All right,
hard.
well.
it was pretty difficult. So. Hopefully it comes across that way. Not that sounds bad, but still.
No.
Oh
Absolutely.
no. Yeah.
You want to
Well,
tear everyone else apart emotionally the way you tore
I-
yourself apart emotionally,
I
right?
had a reader who just read the Howling Moon first 2 books, and she came back and was like, "I can't believe you killed this character in the first book." Sorry.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Someone's already loyal to somebody in the first book.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
No one's safe. Maybe I've read too much George R. R. Martin.
Too much Martin
no one's
there.
safe.
You know, who dies? This person. Throw the book. Go run, pick up book. Like, he's just kidding.
I did do that with the third not Lord of the Rings, but Game of Thrones book. So yeah.
Yeah, it was me at the end of the first one when they killed Ned. Spoiler alert.
Well,
Ned
for
Stark
me,
dies.
it was the Red Wedding for me. I said I wouldn't pick it back up, and so I don't think I did for a week, but then I read it again.
Yeah, I picked it up immediately because I was like, that's from Arya's point of view. There's no way they actually killed Ned. Arya just saw wrong. She was just scared. Yeah, no, they did. Yeah.
Spoiler.
All right, Jen, keep going. Yeah.
I'm not an alcoholic. I never drink.
You're not.
I just need to put that out there. It's my 18-year anniversary, and we went to dinner before this show.
I just need you to say the word alcoholic again.
Yeah, do it again.
Alcoholic.
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 Sorry,
okay, when you write, what comes to you first, the plot or the characters?
Plot. Like the first scene I wrote in Howling Moon was the transformation scene for her. Was her first time that she has a seizure. That was what kickstarted that story for me, and that's like 4 chapters in or 5 chapters in, and I was like, then I had to work my way backwards and forward from that. So
I guess that the next question then is it's plotted out, or does it kind of like take you for a ride, or?
Well, I do both. Like sometimes I'll plot one of my books completely out, and then sometimes I'll just sit down and write it. So it's just depends on the book. Like I said, Howling Moon, actually a lot of it changed as I was writing it because of the characters. Like Ashley, I ended up like, no, I can't do this to this character. And there's another character in it that the ending of Howling Moon was drastically different than what ended up being the final cut.
Oh, Ashley. He just messes things up. But how do you, so I'm going to ask then a prep question. It's not really like planning or something, but then how do you prep?
Well, like I got notebooks everywhere. I usually will write down scenes and ideas that I have for a project, and I listen to a lot of music when I'm writing too. I'll put my headphones on, and I can't listen to it if it's like just out in the house or something like that. But if I put headphones on, and it allows me to focus a little bit more, and I just go at it. The writing's the easy part for me. It's the editing that I hate.
I think you'll find you're in good company with that.
No, I hate it.
Even as narrators, I'm like, I hate editing.
Yeah.
Editing is the worst.
But also I love doing royalty share, so like I just have to like suck it up and do it.
That's fair.
I hire an editor. I don't edit.
Yeah, I also list what I can, but Freya, then how do you prep? Freya?
It has evolved over time. So when I never prepped any. Basically, my nonfiction stopped as soon as I started getting fiction. I didn't prep those. I just like read them. But for fiction, I started out naively thinking, oh, I can just read the book and I'll remember all the characters. It'll be fine. So I did that for a few. And then I got a series last summer that completely changed the entire way that I prep my audiobooks. And so now I cannot do the highlighting, like my ADHD brain can't handle all the colors on the page. So I will read through the book, and I have like an Excel spreadsheet because I'm also a data nerd. And I will list out like each chapter. So like chapter 1, and then what characters talk, any like characteristics or descriptions for those characters. And I go through that for the whole book, doing the same exact thing. So when I go into like while I'm recording, I always have that Google sheet pulled up. So like I'm recording chapter 1 is pulled up so I can see like what characters talk in what order. especially at the beginning of the book when you're establishing like all the characters, like what voices I'm going to use. I have that pulled up to like help. The book that I finished today narrating has a whole lot of high-pitched voices. So it's like they're all fairies and they all have like high voices. Like that's the description, is they're all high voices.
I
So
mean,
I'm like, that it makes sense, but I have to, pull from other things. So this one likes to wear purple all the time. This one likes to wear pink all the time. So what would a purple fairy sound like compared to a pink fairy compared
what
to
purple sounds like.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah. So
I don't know
so
if everybody can see the chat, but that's actually my wife on here asking this question. But how many unpublished and half-published books do I have? I could
Hello,
probably go
hello, correct wife.
if I was to just sit and edit. I could probably can publish 3 books a year for probably 10 to 15 years. That's how
Nice.
much.
Damn.
wow.
Nice.
I
Maybe
wrote
Awesome.
you should hire
300,000
your
words
wife or
last
your
year.
son as your
Huh?
editor. Hire your wife or your son as your editor.
Yeah. Well, she won't read the werewolf books though.
Maybe she'll become a nerd. Yeah, Samantha, you can become a nerd to the werewolf thing. It'll help you overcome your fear. So this is like a 2 birds, 1 stone thing.
We're immersing you into the werewolves.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because he'll be looking at it from a clinical, analytical eye, and then he'll be releasing more books, which means more money. I think it's just an overall winning situation.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I'm just volunteering you to do all of this work. So. Because
Hey,
I'm not.
solver.
I am voluntelling you. Yeah, I didn't realize you had so many, Freya. I was looking at and I was like, oh, 51 pops up under Freya Victoria's name. Now, do you use a pseudonym at all for anything else?
So Freya's like when I started doing fiction, I created Freya. Prior to that, I narrated under Bree Carlisle, which is where all like the nonfiction that I do is, and that's where the Bite at a Time Books podcasts are. I host as Bree Carlisle.
Okay.
And then Freya is kind of where like all the fiction. I had like the first fiction author I narrated for was like, hey, I've got this like 50 Shades book coming down the pipeline. And I'm like, cool, we're going to make a pseudonym. I already discussed Christian family. We're going to make this far removed. Also, background checks occasionally happen for my day job. So I'd like to not be questioned on my extracurricular activities.
What? You don't think that would get you like auto hired?
No, my day job has nothing to do with books.
Never mind.
Yeah, no.
I was being inappropriate, okay?
Okay, sorry. Now, the books that I do, because I have done a few like erotica and stuff like that, I've been hired on books that I never auditioned for because they're like, well, we saw the reviews on your other stuff. And I'm like, okay.
That's a win. A win is a win. If you don't have to audition to get those books, do it.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, then I'm going to come back to you, Stephen. What are you? I know you said that you were working on book 4, or you set up book 3 off to the editor.
3's going
No,
to
that book, the fairy book, goes off to the editor. I am still editing book 3 myself for the Howling Moon.
Okay, and then book 4 is coming after that?
Yep.
And then there's a spinoff.
There is a spinoff. I actually hope to publish book 3 and the first spinoff next year.
Next year, okay. And what's in the pipeline after that? Something you already written, or do you have new ideas, or?
Well, I'd like to say that I'm going to work on what I have sitting here on my laptop, but like I said, I wrote Fairywood Falls last year. I wrote a Spider Shifter fantasy last year that I think I want to really work on. I did not realize Spider Shifters were a popular thing until after I wrote the book. And then I started seeing some of the stuff on TikTok, and I was like, okay.
Does your Spider Shifter like shift into the romance genre?
No, it's still very much the urban fantasy genre.
I don't know. I mean, so yours are not spicy.
No.
Okay.
I usually do the fade to black on most of those things. So
cool.
So there has been discussions. My wife's like, I should write that, but I've always told her that if I was to write that, she'd have to come in and we'd have to do a pen name, and we'd both write it.
That's how my husband feels about writing spicy stuff too. He's like, it's closed door. I'm like, okay, if you need someone to write your spice, I got you.
That's pretty much what I've told her, that if I'm going to go that route, we're going to start a pen name for both of us. And
Yeah.
because she's a nurse, I think they might frown upon that a little bit. I don't know if they would or not, but
I don't know. I feel like nurses probably like eat that stuff up.
she probably does. I know what she likes to read, so yeah.
What does she like to read? Because it's not werewolves.
No, it's not werewolves. What is the name of that series? The Black Dagger Brotherhood? Is that one of them? I don't know if she can hear me. She's into that.
Well, but she was in the chat. She should be able to.
She may not even be paying attention now.
I think I have the first book of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, but I haven't read it. Maybe.
That's how I feel about books that I've read. I'm like, I think I've read this book. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, no, I lied. I don't. These look not familiar to me at all. Oh, there's 21. No, I definitely haven't read them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I definitely have not. No, I was thinking of something else. Clearly.
You'll definitely promote erotica more.
Is that the name of the series you like? That's it. It's the Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Dagger Brotherhood.
And then she likes anything by Sherlyn Kenyon. So she loves anything by her.
Yeah,
so.
That name I do know.
Every time Jen takes a drink of water, she looks so disappointed in the water. Watching her face, she's done it a couple times now. Just this real disappointed face.
This is not wine.
No, I had a margarita. It was like the size of my head. It was like a fishbowl of a margarita. It was good. This is blah.
Was it at a Mexican restaurant? I feel like Mexican restaurants always give you this like ratio of alcohol to not alcohol. That's like if I want a giant glass of wine, just go to a Mexican restaurant because they're going to give me like a full glass pour for like $3.
Oh yeah.
That's where I went.
You know, they know. They
They definitely know. It's good.
All right, more questions. Pull out your sheet.
Oh shit. Okay.
No, sheet.
Sheet. That's what I meant. Fuck. Let's see. So were any of your characters inspired by real people in your life?
Not really.
I had a question before, and I think it was good, but I fucking forgot what it was. Oh, at what point? Because you said that while you were writing, the story changed because of the characters. When did that start happening for you? Was it like right from the beginning with book one, or was it books after?
It was with Howling Moon. The story started changing probably like there's several chapters that take place in the hospital after her attack, and Ashley on paper is not the same character that ended up going to the page when I wrote it. Like when I was plotting her, she was not that character. So when I started writing her character, I was like, this changes everything. Like it just changed everything. I ended up liking the character more, and maybe that's part of why I couldn't off her character like I started.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, no.
So do you get to points where it's just like you need them to do something, but like no matter how you try to work it, like the characters just refuse to do it?
Yeah, sometimes the old saying that the story has a mind of its own, it takes over. It's so true. It really is.
Yeah.
Was there anything in that vein where like they were trying to go one way and you were like, no, it really needs to go this way because of like later things? Like I need you all to come back.
Yeah, I've went that route where I sort of had to fight it to get it to where I wanted it to go. And then when I went back and edited it, I was like, no, maybe it should have went that way, and I change it and make it work the other direction. So. Sometimes
And they
the
were like,
story just really does go where it's supposed to.
the character's like, we told you it
Yeah.
was over here. It's like
I
an
always thought
actually,
that was kind of crazy when I heard people talk about it that way, but I've had it happen so many times when writing now that I'm like, yeah, I'll plot it, and then when it's writing, if it goes a different way, it goes a different way. That's like Fairywood Falls. I actually set out to write a story about an evil fairy. That's not what ended up on page.
Were you working on something with like Appalachian folklore?
I wanted to write a lot of fiction that takes place here. That's what I wanted to write, and that's why I wanted to go with that, with a fairy tale. So, like, I've got probably 10 works in progress right now that all take place in Eastern Kentucky or West Virginia. So,
nice. Now, are they based on the folklore of the area?
no, not really. It's just
Okay.
sort of me interjecting.
So there,
Have you
no,
ever heard the story of the fairy tears? What those little stones with the crosses in them?
I
It's
haven't.
basically it says when Jesus died that the fairies of Appalachia cried, and that's what they cried was those stones. And I wanted to work it into the story, and it's in there, but it's the story's not what it wanted to be at first. So
We got little remnants in there.
yeah.
But no Mothman, like not Mothman's not going to make it.
No Mothman, but my dad is obsessed with Bigfoot. There's a little bit of Bigfoot lore in there, and like there's the Mothman Festival and all that kind of stuff. I find all that interesting. So
Mothman's terrifying. Don't even joke. I was
Have you ever seen anything in the woods?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Can you tell me about that?
I hunt. I've spent so much time in the woods in Kentucky.
Yeah.
We hunt in northern Kentucky, and I've been out there before daylight, and there's sometimes you just don't want to be there because you don't know what is right there around you. Because this is that's national forest, and whether it's your eyes and mind playing trick on you or whatever, it's there.
But can you describe like something that you think you saw?
Uh,
Are you not allowed?
I know what just come to mind, but I'm not sure if I can explain it. Like there's this one place where I used to hunt that it was like some sort of blue object just walking through the woods, and my wife says she won't go to that territory with me because we've told her too many horror stories about that area, even though nothing bad has ever happened to us there. We've just seen stuff like there's a whale there that they say ghosts and spirits hang around and all that kind of stuff. So,
is it like just like weird land or?
no, well, there used to be houses there, but before it got took over by the government, and it's now national forest, and that's like the lakes around here. Most of these lakes are where they're man-made. There's houses and stuff in the bottom of those lakes. That's just weird.
Yeah, that's like urban legends or rural legends waiting to happen. Like,
My wife's
I love
telling
that
me
shit.
something about a woman here where we live that they see her carrying a wash tub
certain times of the year.
certain times of the year. So
She would be moved down by vehicle.
yeah.
Well, yeah, they talk about that a lot. Like Ohio, Kentucky, Virginia, we're known for our ghosts. Like we are like, super haunted.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we are like in an Appalachia area, so things get everything was so rural for so long, and then tore it down, started building things on top of it. So the stuff came with that, and then yeah, I don't know. It's terrifying though.
Yeah, if you really sit and think about it, it can be.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Ohio, and a lot of my family's from Hazard. So
Hazard, Kentucky.
Mhm.
That's hour and 10 minutes from here. because we're in
Mhm.
Pikeville. So
Yeah. And I grew up, going in the little triangle, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio. So yeah, we were always terrified of the Mothman. What was her name? The wife um, at the train tracks. She got thrown off the train tracks. I don't know if you
I
guys
don't
have
know
heard
that
that one.
one.
She's in Ohio. But yeah, you hear her screaming if you go by the train tracks at night. It's terrifying.
Okay,
So,
I had heard something about that, but I didn't know. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
yeah. The
I feel
woman in
like
white. The woman in white. That's who.
Woman in white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I always thought the woman in white was because she was, well, I guess that would make sense, betrayed by a man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her. She was in white. She was in her wedding dress. Her new husband, I think, had an affair or something, and she was fighting with him, and he threw her off of the overpass bridge, and she landed on the train tracks and got hit. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's intense.
That's
So yeah,
fun.
yeah.
This is
Yeah,
all
New
stories,
York's
huh?
got a lot too. Long Island's super haunted.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
When me and my sister, when she was still alive, we were planning on going to Long Island. They have some kind of what is it? A sanitarium, some kind of like psych
King's
ward or
Park.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there. I was all up in there.
Yeah, we were gonna go to that.
My
Um,
They
wife
ripped it down. It's gone now.
I know.
just told me a story about a woman that was buried alive here in Pikeville, and they
Her grave is at
her her grave is at Pikeville College, and they see her from time to time. So
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know anything about that.
That's
No.
terrifying.
That-
That's
All right,
one of
what,
my biggest fears is getting buried alive.
what about you, Freya? Is there weird stuff where you are? Weird folk legends?
I'm like from Dallas, and I've been not far from Dallas my entire life. We're kind of bored. Like,
Nothing weird happens in Dallas.
Well, Missouri's got those ghost lights.
Yeah.
I don't know. We used to tell like stupid ghost stories when I was a kid, but they weren't like actual legend things. It was like random crap we made up or whatever. So
Aw.
Well, that's because you had Dallas and like things to do. We're in Appalachia where
No.
there's like
no. I live near Dallas. Not in Dallas. Where I grew up, there was, well, I should say when I was like 9, we moved into the middle of the country. And so like we lived, like the closest Walmart was like 30 minutes away. Like we had to drive to a Walmart that didn't just have clothes, like back in the day when there was the Walmarts that only had like the clothes. And there was nothing to do there. They also had the highest pregnancy rate among the teens in the state. So they had lots of things to do if you had a significant other. But we got a drive-in when I was in like junior high or high school. So then we would go to the drive-in. Like,
Oh, we have a new podcast for you. You can look up Dallas and locale legends.
right. I'm sure there are some. I just have never like looked into it. So
The only one I know about here is the Richmond vampire. Supposedly, the mausoleum of W.W. Poole is a vampire, and he haunts Hollywood Cemetery here. But he was run out of England for being a vampire. So supposedly, he still walks around Hollywood Cemetery, like just chilling.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a friend of mine to fly his drone over the Brown Mountain lights, the ghost lights in North Carolina. But apparently you get in big trouble for that. But I'm working on it. I'll pressure him into it one of these days.
Why would you get in trouble for that?
I don't know. There's like some lookout place where you can just fly right on in there, and you're not supposed to go up there, but it's like the perfect like lookout point. So he says he could be lying to me because he just doesn't want to do it.
no, there's a thing about, because my sister and brother-in-law have a drone that they do like fishing video stuff with. And there's a thing about you're not supposed to fly a drone unless you're like licensed to fly the drone. And then you have to like get permission because of airspace and like small airplanes
Yeah.
flying too low or whatever. I mean, they still do it anyways, but they don't do it in places where people are paying attention. So,
Well, I know he has a license, and his drone is like a badass one. Like it's thousands of dollars. But maybe that's why he doesn't want to crash it. I don't know.
I
probably
mean,
it's more selfish than he just doesn't want to do it.
what a
Yeah.
jerk.
He is a
God.
jerk. No, he's actually pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know what causes those. But the other night, I took 2 pieces of big quartz, and if you rub them together really fast, they light up. Like inside, they glow.
Can I ask what the impetus was for that?
I saw somebody do it, and I was like, nah. So I did it myself.
I'm
I was
just
like,
curious.
this isn't real. It's real, and it smells weird.
I'm the worst about all the videos that are like, only such and such % of the population can do whatever.
Wow.
I do it
I'm
all.
always doing the weird things.
Yeah.
3
I'm
o'clock
like,
in the morning, I'm
"Shit."
sitting there, I'm like, could do that.
Yes, exactly.
We all do that.
Yeah.
So somebody rubbed quartz together, and I was like, I gotta get my quartz. So I did it, and it's real. So get clear quartz, and it works with pink quartz too, rose quartz. It just doesn't light up as much, but the clear quartz really lights up. It really does. So I'm wondering, like, is it because the mountains are full of quartz? Could it be like movement making those lights flash? Could it be the quartz?
I always thought it was something related to like swamps and like, will-o'-the-wisps and that kind of stuff were always kind of swamp lights.
Is there swamps in the mountains?
I don't know.
I would think that slid down. I don't know.
I live in downtown Richmond and there are swamps here, but I don't think they're the same kind. You
I don't know. I gotta go.
Arrived.
Did you
Okay,
just-
PJ has the tow truck.
great.
Yay!
Fabulous.
We were
I'm
very
happy.
worried, PJ.
I was super worried.
I was terrified. Like I felt kind of weepy.
Yeah, dude, don't look at the trees.
I
Don't ever
was
look in the
because
trees.
He goes into like positive laughing mode and his cast is like, stop being so happy.
Oh.
So, I mean, can relate.
I laugh at like everything, so I'm always sending like the laughing emojis, and I'm like, people probably think that like there's no way someone laughs this much. I'm like, no, I mess up, I laugh. I don't mess up, I laugh. I'm talking, I laugh. Like I laugh all the time, and I have this lovely thing where my face turns bright red when I laugh, so it's super fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it like all this entire time.
Yeah,
I have it.
It was probably really bad while I was doing the reading.
I didn't
I
notice.
just stay pale.
We
I
know.
stay pale. You can
It's
tell,
a
right?
very pretty color though.
I'm pale when I'm not red. Like
Oh yeah, I'm completely
You-
white.
You all in your Celtic blood.
I used to tan. I don't know what happened. It broke.
Your melanin just broke.
It broke. I don't know.
See, mine broke because I don't go outside. So
So
I
it
have-
can break, right? You could lose that ability. I mean, you must, because that's
You-
what happened to me.
well, now I
Well,
just really
Technically, you can. It can break. If you want me to go into the science,
Yes, do,
esthetician
please.
part. As you age, the melanin in your body does actually break down, so it can
Wow.
cause you not tan the same way you would, especially if you excessively tanned when you were younger. But it does happen as you age. You're more prone to not be able to tan. So
No, I just got kicked out a lot. I never tanned. But yeah.
I never could tan. I have a sun allergy though, so I stay out of the sun. I'm a vampire.
Uh-oh.
It's fine. We know. Anyway,
The
Steven,
overlord.
you said you go hunting. Do you go hunting in those places you said that give you like kind of creepy vibes, or do you like specifically avoid those? Is there weird
No.
wildlife stuff?
Maybe I'm strange. I still do it. Still go.
Okay, that's fair. You're not afraid that you're gonna like upset some like, I don't know, animal god or something?
No, as long as I don't mess with them, they don't mess with me.
Okay.
I
Have
think
you
we
ever
saw
heard your
it that
name
time,
called?
right?
Your name called?
Yeah, have you ever heard your name called? And I'm like
No, no,
all up in Appalachian talk, so I know like all the
no.
creepy shit.
That I remember
I
my grandparents telling me that as a kid, or my parents or someone, and it stuck with me. I've never heard my name called from outside the window or out in the woods or anything like that, but I do know if I did, I wouldn't go there.
Yeah, I would be
Oh, that's good. You will not star in your own horror film.
No,
That's good.
So the blue thing that you saw, was it like skin blue? Was it like fur blue? Like, did you get a good look at it?
it was like skin blue. I did not
It
get
was
a good
like
look at
skin
it.
blue.
One
Okay.
minute it was there, and the next minute it was gone. So
Like
Was
a
it like 6'7" or was it taller?
we always joked that we thought it was Bigfoot. So
A blue Bigfoot. Okay.
yeah,
a blue
I think
Bigfoot.
it was a Smurf.
we're
Paige.
one of the blue people.
Smurfs are little.
Bam.
You don't know that.
Okay, touche.
Have you ever seen a Smurf in real life?
I have not. I have
Right.
not.
Thank
So,
you.
I stand corrected.
Damn, it's
But
getting
no,
windy here too.
am I googling like big blue shape West or Appalachia? Yes, I am.
Don't just Google big blue things.
I put shape, and it just gave me mountains. It gave me the Blue Ridge.
Well, they're
I'm just
beautiful.
gonna keep my mouth shut. Shh. Shh.
You can. Don't tell me to be careful, PJ. I am on a mission.
You should Google blue waffle, Paige.
No,
Don't. That was mean.
And it
Don't
was-
do it.
I don't
Don't
It
trust
was
do
you.
at that point that Jen just lost herself.
No, the Kentucky Hellhound is a dark blue werewolf-like monster. You saw the Kentucky Hellhound, Stephen.
I've
And
never
you
heard of that.
write
So now I'm going to have to
about
look it up.
It was communicating to you.
It's on thesmokies.com. It's an
I will.
editorial.
I will have to look that up.
Laura.
Lara, I'll remember how to say it right one day. I promise.
Lara.
Lara.
Oh, I almost burped
Wow,
again. Sorry, guys.
only one of these. Kentucky Hellhound. Dark blue werewolf-like monster capable of standing on its hind legs. It is reportedly 4 feet tall, nocturnal, weighs 600 pounds, and has an affinity for skinning young calves.
Wait, so he's 4 feet tall and 600 pounds?
Yeah.
I like me.
How does that work?
Maybe
just
it's like at
rolls?
the shoulder. Like at the shoulder, and then he gets up on his like hind legs. You know what I mean? Like a bear.
Oh, okay, okay.
Pounds at
Roll
his
everywhere.
shoulder.
No, 4
What the
feet
heck
at
is
his
shoulder?
shoulder. 4 feet at his shoulder.
I could take it.
Shoulder is 600
I'm
pounds. He's
like,
like,
how's he keeping that shoulder up?
the rest of him is real strong. But it said early sightings date back to the 1930s and were originally reported by moonshiners.
That has nothing to do with
Surprise
anything,
me.
Paige.
That does not surprise me at
That's
all.
just convenient. That's just because they're out there working hard.
Right.
He rolls.
That's a barrel with legs.
He would have to.
Well, but apparently there's a whole show about these mountain monsters.
Of course there is.
Oh yeah, I remember that show. Hey, yo, Wendy, did you know that? And I don't remember where. Somewhere in the mountains of North Carolina, they found burial ground of little people that were like fully grown. Like they did the tests on the DNAs and stuff in the bones, and they were older people, but they were tiny. Like they found like a village of little elves, and supposedly that shit's real.
The Moonite? Is
I
that the
read it.
Moonite people?
Yes,
I'd heard
you
of
heard
that.
about them.
I've
Was
heard
that
about the
real?
Moonite people.
Yeah, they were only like 2 feet tall, maybe smaller.
We don't know.
They were little,
We don't
but they
know.
were like fully grown skeletons. What?
That sounds like
She
some
said
edible
what?
crap.
I said I don't know. I've never heard this before.
I'll see if I can find the article, but I definitely read that somewhere.
You came at it so
Yeah,
aggressive
see,
that
she
I
knows.
got concerned.
See, I'm not crazy. They both know.
Moon-eyed?
Moon-eyed, yeah. Because they saw poorly during the day.
Mhm.
Really?
That's what Wiki says.
Yes, they told you that.
Oh.
I told you.
Again, you said it so confidently. I was like,
Oh, well, like, I'm confident because I read
tell me
it.
more. Tell me
I'm
more.
confident when I read, just
Okay,
not when
well,
I
I
speak.
can't read. I can't read.
Right,
And,
that's why I read
and
it to you.
apparently, though, you speaking it to me is not reading. So I'm just not going to be able to
You're
read.
right.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's definitely the Cherokee legend. I read that also.
Yes.
Audiobooks
Or
are not real
predicted.
books. It's been decided.
Yo, the mountains are where it's at. We got to get up in there.
I've told many of
What she
people
said.
that if I read the book and I read it to you, you can count it as you reading the book.
Nope.
I read
It's already
it.
been decided by somebody.
By some random person not on Book Talk.
I have never read a
They said
book.
no.
And
And
they're
also
like,
don't write.
So
I'm
are we
gonna
giving
be
you more
humble.
ideas for your writing, Stephen? Are you listening to like, yeah, I'm going to write a story
Oh,
about the movie.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's
I'm
like, I'm
always-
going to write a story about
I'm
Ford Creek.
really, actually, that Kentucky Hellhound idea, it's there already. Maybe
Well,
not the white part of it, but we'll see.
he is a werewolf, so that would track.
Yeah.
just work
What
it
about
in.
aliens? Do you think they're in the woods?
My dad believes in them. I will go
I
there.
I
That's
believe in
Totally
that.
alien.
They are real and they're in the water. I watched
I believe they're in the water too.
They are
Yes.
in the freaking ocean.
Yes.
Okay, so not like the water we drink. I'm not drinking a bunch of little aliens.
I got another question.
No, but
Wendy.
there are amoebas in that water. Like you do not
Oh,
want to drink
yeah.
like the last third of what you are consuming. And
Also,
don't
never put it
drink
up your
Right.
nose. It's brain amoebas.
Yes. Yeah, a couple of
Yeah,
people
don't-
died in North Carolina like 2 summers ago from getting brain amoebas from the lake.
Yeah, don't use neti pots, people.
Or if you do, boil the water.
Yeah.
They
Kill the
swam in
amoebas.
the lake. They didn't do neti pots.
Yeah,
swam.
that's like, it's like up the nose.
Fuck, I forgot what I was going to ask Wendy. God damn it. Fuck. Good question.
Something about aliens.
It was. Oh. That place where you're at. Did you ever see anything over the water? Like orange orbs that form triangles?
Were they blue people? How tall were they?
No, and I wasn't. I was completely fine when I saw this.
Were they?
But they rose up over the ocean, right? These orange triangles, and all the lights on the pier just blew out. Like at that moment that they came out of the water, and I was with other people, so other people saw this too. And there was this guy walking, and he stopped and looked. Also, like stranger, I don't know him. And I was just like, yo, these are aliens. We're going to get abducted. This guy turned and booked back to his fucking car. I was like, we got to go too. Stranger ran, we got to go. So I was like, I don't want to be the one. So we got back in our cars and we
You
left.
don't want to be the one.
I wanna be
Not
the one.
today.
I do not want to be the one. So we followed the stranger running back to the parking lot. But those were aliens.
I
Oh my God,
100% believe in them.
I literally just
Yeah.
saw a video about like when you're trying to run from like a bear or a wild creature, not to push your slower friend down. Like,
I'll be honest with you
I'm
all.
the slowest one, okay? I'm pushing down whoever's slower.
Yeah.
I got bad knees, so like I'm already gonna be the slow runner. So I'm gonna take somebody out fast.
Yeah, see, Wendy's seen him. Wendy's seen him too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Aliens in the water and in the
Aliens
woods.
they are. Listen, we don't know what's in that ocean. We can
No, I
only see
know.
so much of it. Okay.
Yeah.
And the world is. Listen, all 9 of you, listen to me. Look, aliens. Aliens. But we've only been able to discover so much of it, and we are like mostly ocean.
Yeah, they're in there.
Why would they be showing up in crop circles? There is an underwater civilization that we have not discovered yet.
It's
not
in the
crazy.
Mariana Trench,
I'm
right
not-
next to the Carcharodon megalodon.
And what about that place up in Antarctica where you're not allowed to fly over or anything like that? Right? What's up with that? What's up with that?
Right. What is up with that?
Doesn't it
Yeah,
have to do with
aliens
like
is what's up with that.
magnetism and it's screwing with your instruments?
No, there's aliens up there.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I mean,
Paige. Aliens.
sorry, it's aliens. It's the aliens EMP magnetism screwing with your instruments. We
It
can both be right.
is. I saw it on a documentary.
A documentary.
It has to be true.
Oh man, did you guys see that one? It was years ago about the mermaids. It was like presented as a doc. I was so pissed
mad.
off. Oh my god, I was furious.
I have not watched the History Channel since they did that.
I know. I was. They
Steven,
did.
I'm going to need you to write a werewolf documentary. And we can send it to DJ and Jen.
I would be broken inside. I was so listen. I got people like that were like, I'm like, listen, the History Channel has found mermaids. I was so
excited. I was so upset after.
Ready. And then
sure
when
they
I got
were
through that,
dolphins?
No, they presented this whole documentary as like factual information with like video footage from like this submarine of like this mermaid like creature like coming up and like its hands like went on the windshield of this thing and like slid away. And they were presenting this whole thing as like fact. And at the very end of the fucking credits, it was like, psych! I was like, you fucking assholes.
They Blair Witched us.
They did. But it was so convincing, dude. I was so happy there was mermaids. I was so happy.
I was so excited. I was like, finally, we have proof.
Yes.
I was ruined.
Shattered.
Don't believe everything on the History Channel.
I don't believe anything
anymore. The History Channel is what broke you.
It did break me. It did. That was my safe place, was the History Channel, because they talked about the aliens and the conspiracies and then the mermaids. And then they went.
Yep.
Never trust another again. Never.
Nope. All right.
Anyway,
friends, we're approaching bedtime. I think we went a little loopy towards the end here.
This is what happens when Allie doesn't come on. Shit runs crazy.
It does.
So Allie, beefing our ear.
Allie would agree with the aliens.
I think so too.
No, she would. 100%. All right, friends. So for a wrap up, we'll start with Freya, and then we'll go to Freya. Tell us something about yourself. Like, I don't know, your favorite book you've narrated or what you want people to listen to and the name that we can find you under, etc.
See, favorite book. My favorite books are currently with the authors right now. Favorite two, like writing wise and writing style that I've done recently, Amberly Henning's books. She's got 2 out right now. I'm about to work on the 3rd. She's listening through them very slowly right now. That is Contained in Darkness and Bound in Shadow. Should be out as soon as she's done listening to them. And then I just finished narrating The Key by Stormy Lewis, and I'll be doing the rest of those books as well. Both, I loved the writing style of them. Just very fun characters. The Stormy Lewis's books, she's like a psychopath, so that one was really fun to do. The thing is like the beginning of it, and her like, you know, learning how to whatever, she like loses her memory and has to like get it back. And you asked what was the rest?
Where they
can find you, like the name to look at.
You can find me like Freya Victoria is going to be like most of my stuff. I'm on, it's the same username across basically all platforms. I also have a website where like all the links are there as well, which is just freyavictoria.com.
I have a question. I'm not sure if I hallucinated this, but did you say that your husband writes?
Yes.
Oh, what does he write under? What does he write?
Alexander Forchart. Mm-hmm. Okay. He's writing, he's dyslexic, and so he writes he's also editing as he goes. Writes, go to bed, kiddo. He's writing very, very slowly. Also, his book is like, he's estimating it'll be like 120,000 words ish, and he's like halfway through that. So
cool.
His is like, you can't call them superheroes because that's trademarked, but it's like superheroes origin story kind of stuff that'll be a series with like
That's awesome. Are you going to narrate it for him?
I am not. I'm trying to convince him
Okay.
to use Paige because there's a ton of accents that I do not do. So I'm like,
She's our accent lady.
she's making. Yeah,
I do love an accent.
He's only listened to one book that I've narrated, but like, I think he thought it was just like this hobby that I just do, and like nothing was really gonna come of it. And then I asked him to listen to one because the author was like, I don't know if I want to hear it done or whatever. And so he listens to it and he's like, okay, you can narrate my book now, but there's all these accents that you don't know how to do. I'm like, maybe not. But yeah,
Well, you can learn them.
Any social media platform or on Audible. All of my links are also in my bio, so that is easier for anybody to find.
Nice. And I'll link to all of that too when I upload this episode to our YouTube channel. So I'll have a link to everybody's website or Linktree or whatever you want. So people can find it there as well. All right, Stephen, your turn.
So just like her, I have a link tree on my account where you can pretty much find everything. But yeah, if you search Stephen Paul Watson, I'm pretty much the only one out there that's doing books. So April 28th, my next book should be out. It's a little bit more fairy tale horror fantasy type, Fairywood Falls, and my favorite book ever, Lord of the Rings, obviously. And I'm currently in a Buffy the Vampire Slayer Angel rewatch, so there's that.
Oh. I had to stop watching in season. What is it? The season where the statue spits Angel back out. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I love those shows. There's like, I was actually going to be wearing a Firefly shirt tonight, and I
I was
didn't.
about to ask
But
if you were a Firefly fan.
I'm a Firefly fanatic, so you know.
My dad is too. My dad doesn't pretend to like anything nerdy, but Firefly, he is full geek.
No, I'm fully open with the fact that I'm a geek, so you know.
But he also loves Lord of the Rings. So I mean, he is a geek. He just only admits it for like Lord of the Rings and Firefly. Like he believes he is Jane. Basically, he's Jane. So yeah,
I'm probably more of a Wash. So
we love Wash. Everyone loves Wash. Wash is my favorite. Right. Well, I am buying.
My wife has
buying
never watched Firefly.
She won't, or
she asked me what was a Wash.
The best character in Firefly. All right, I just bought Howling Moon the Beginning, so I can read it.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, so everybody go check out Stephen. He's on Amazon. Do you sell on your website as well, or just through it? Like
I have not got it set up on my website yet, but I need to, so that I can sell signed copies. So
yeah, we want signed copies. We love signed copies, especially because those covers are gorgeous.
That fairy tale one is.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, I love the Fairy Wing covers, so I loved it.
Beautiful. So. Cool. All right, so yeah, he's on there. Stephen Paul Watson. First book is it's called The Howling Moon: The Beginning, and the second one is Full
art too. We like art.
What's that?
I said some of your art. You should post some of it.
Yeah,
I will. I like on Instagram. A lot of my stuff's on Instagram. I just
okay.
That on TikTok.
Yeah. So. My mother told me she went to school for social media marketing, and I was told that I had to post less Happy Thursday and more things about me because people like you and not boring Happy Tuesday posts. So you should post, even though you haven't worked on it in a while, you should start posting your random stuff that you do, because people
especially now when nothing ever works on TikTok and it's just the wild fucking west.
My most viral video, which baby viral, like 14 or 1500 views, was like me signing off on an audiobook. Like, you never know what's gonna do in the book.
I know, it's
me talking
so
about
aggravating.
My booth.
You never know what's going to get views and what's not. It's crazy.
So what you should do like your art and then just randomly start flashing like your cover of your books in there, like subliminal messages, like a blip.
Hide it in the background.
Right? Yeah, or like up back behind. So it's still like people will be like,
oh wait, what's that?
Like, what is that cover? Like, yeah. But no, I'm definitely interested in seeing like the woodworking and stuff. That sounds so cool because I have no patience to do that. So I'm always in awe of anybody who can.
It's pretty easy, to be honest.
Okay, then I'm just inept.
I mean, what I always say with the scroll saw work, it's all about watching what you're doing with your fingers because of the blade,
You keep
but
talking.
it's not that much different than a sewing machine, really.
Oh, I do that. I do sew, but it's been a while. And I have sewn something to my hand.
I
I
just
don't know
made
how.
a
Well,
quilt
that sucks.
go.
I hot glue my fingers all the time.
Hot glue the fingers. Yep.
Yeah.
I assume it's so you don't have fingerprints anymore.
Sometimes. Statute of limitations.
All right, Fred. Thank you, Freya. Thank you, Stephen, for joining us tonight.
Thank
It was
you for
we had a
having us.
wonderful time. And I hope you'll have a good night. We'll be back next week. Jen is hosting. I don't know if she'll be drunk. Come anyway.
No, I won't
And-
be. I won't be.
Well, now
I'll be
now
good.
he'll come, but no.
A little bit.
And then that'll be PJ, and then the week after that is I think it's Jillian Yetter and
Yes.
Danielle Harrington.
Yes.
So yes, you will be there
Yes.
in
it'd be
pants,
great.
wearing pants. All right.
Pants.
That's
Have a good
optional.
night,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.